Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on today, so also rearview mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dash and D, aka the real king of R&B, aka fuck with me, you know I got it. I'm sorry, YouTube. My bad.
Oh, man.
Shout out to the dude in our comments today.
Snap. That's too funny.
Listen,
All right.
if y'all gonna come into the comments, I'm gonna go into the comments too.
Okay. And there it is, folks.
And then if you step out of line, I'm gonna give you one good time. And then when you step out of line again, I'm gonna turn into Blockisha.
You see, I was saying scissors. But Blockisha is good. You made that up?
No, I'm pretty sure I heard somebody else say that. I don't know who though. So
That's
credit
good.
to whoever made that up. But don't, please, love you guys down, okay? To the moon and back. Thank you so much for everyone who has ever commented, liked, subscribed to our channel. Anyone who keeps up with us on the socials. Shout out to Snacks for clarifying that Cardi B is in fact a wrestling fan and has been wanting to host SummerSlam for a while now. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming into the comments with light and positivity.
Yep, we do. Shout out to Snacks.
But you get spicy with us. You get spicy right back. I love spicy. That's it. That's all I got to say. But I love y'all. For real.
All right. And on to our second topic. So people have been speaking a lot about Superman since it came out. The good, the bad, the ugly, the numbers, all of it. And so Variety has some numbers here for you guys that we thought we should share. And so Variety's headline reads, Box Office. Superman surpasses 400 million globally. Jurassic World Rebirth, $650 million milestone. It says Superman continues to rule the worldwide box office, powering to 406 million after 2 weekends of release. Those ticket sales include 171.8 million overseas and 235 million from the North American market. Turnout remains softer than expected at the international box office, where Superman added 45.2 million in its second weekend. Outsized global appeal is vital because the comic book reboot starring David Cornswet as the Man of Steel has the lofty goal of launching a new phase of superhero movies for the Warner Brothers backed DC Studios. 2 interconnected spin-offs, Supergirl and Clayface, will land in 2026, while a new Wonder Woman movie is in the works. Plus, Superman will face steep competition next weekend as another comic book adventure, Disney and Marvel's The Fantastic Four opens in theaters. There's much more in this article if y'all want to read everyone else's numbers, but we just wanted to talk about the Superman numbers because we didn't really speak about Superman up here. So
This is great. This is really your show. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't and I know a review is coming, not today, but I haven't seen it yet, you know. But I know you're a Superman guy, so
yep.
you have seen it. You've seen it twice. So you think you don't have to give a review, but do you think that the numbers make sense?
Yeah, I think it's going to pass 1 billion very easily. It's at 400 already in 2 weeks. I think we see 1 billion or very close to 1 billion. I think it has rewatch value. I can say that without spoiling anything. I think people will really, really like this film, and I think not me, but the general populace will say that this is one of the better Superman movies.
Okay.
And everyone I spoke to it seemed to really like it. I know a couple of people who are not big Superman fans and have already seen it multiple times. And I think that speaks volumes. Yeah, shout out to my boy Nestor. Hey, yo, not the phone on noise mode. Sorry. Excuse me for that. That's gross. Yeah, shout out to my boy Nestor. Nestor is not the biggest Superman fan, and Nestor's already seen it twice.
Okay.
So,
I
yeah, and he
trust
knew that.
Nestor's judgment. Yeah, I was just gonna say I trust Nestor's judgment. I don't trust everybody, but I do trust Nestor's judgment. I have when he was, back when he was talking superheroes. I won't put all his business out there, but back when he was talking superheroes publicly, I can say that I trust his judgment based off of that.
You guys had some alignment, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think the numbers make sense. I think also the reason it hasn't already done bigger is because some people are nervous, right? This is
Hmm.
like some people who I've talked to were like, "There's another Superman movie? Wasn't
Hmm.
there just one a couple of years ago?" It was more than a couple of years ago, but people don't really know what's going on who are not like quote unquote comic book people. I don't know how to
Hmm.
label it, but because I don't look at comic book people and superhero movie people as the same pool of people, but some people do. But whatever.
I see what you
People
mean,
who
though.
are not in tune with any of that stuff, they're just like, another one? What's going on? And so they know Marvel has had this long, almost 20-year, you know, stream of films that have been in the same, not necessarily universe at this point, but this long stream of movies that have been interconnected, where DC has kind of not been able to do that successfully. And so I think some people don't know what's going on. I think there's another group of people who are kind of like nervous. It's kind of like, I don't want to just jump into the deep end of the pool and say I'm going to go watch it. Can I like put my toe in the water and see a trailer or something first? Like, I don't know. So I think there's some nervousness as well with consumers who are not so much of diehard fans, if you will. And so I think that speaks to the numbers as well.
That's interesting. I was also thinking about the fact that you mentioned when you read that Supergirl is coming in 2026. There's a few things coming in 2026. I did see they did the first look for Supergirl, so we've got images of, I don't recall her name. I'm sorry, but
I
Supergirl.
can tell you the name.
We've seen images of the upcoming Supergirl.
Her name
I
is
know
Millie
there's been,
Alcock.
yes. And I know there's also been chatter of who should play Wonder Woman.
Yes, there's a lot of debating going on around that online. And James Gunn kind of threw a little, what's the term? He kind of did some there's totally a term for what I want to say. I can't remember the term. He threw out a little feeler to see if somebody would do it, is what I'll say.
So I like this. This gets me excited, especially because there's these long stretches between movies sometimes when it
Mhm.
comes to these sort of franchise titles
Yep.
that you need to create buzz, you need to create excitement. It's kind of like, selling IMAX tickets a year in advance. You
Right.
need to get people excited about what's coming. So Superman is here, and that's great and that's exciting, but we're constantly, all of us, thinking about what the next thing is. By the time we get out of the movies, we're like, okay, if we liked a movie, we want to know when the next one is and how long do we have to wait. So I love that. They're being intentional about rolling things out in progression so that we're not waiting too long or thinking too much about what's going to come next. I think that's
Yep.
really smart, especially with something like this where you can where they have everything planned out. Obviously, things don't always go exactly as planned. We've seen that multiple times with Marvel, but
DC has already made changes too. To be
yeah,
transparent.
so it but there's still progression there. We have multiple titles to look forward to in 2026. I mean, we're already more than halfway through this year, so we're not going to be waiting that long for what's coming next, and then getting people excited about, well, who's going to play this role and who's going to play that role. I love that. I think whenever they do that, that's really exciting. I know Marvel does it as well. So that's always fun to kind of, speculate who it's going to be, or like see the fans and the people who are comic lovers and whatnot really get into their bag about, well, it should be this person. And then, the original story was like this and they bet. I love that stuff. I'm not that deep in it, so I love to watch and consume other people like really getting into it that way. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
In addition
two
to the
things real
numbers,
quick.
of course.
Yeah, two things real quick. One, is interesting you say that. I'm a big Superman comic book guy, and my dad is not. And so he saw Superman, and we had a conversation. I won't say all of that here. This is not the time for it. But one of the things, nodding at what you said, is James Gunn did a really good job of incorporating things from different comic books of Superman in this film. So my dad's big complaint was he hated the Superman robots. And I said, oh no, that's actually directly from Superman All-Star Superman comic book. The robots look almost identical to that comic book. And he's like, oh, I don't know that comic book. I'm like, see, and that's why you hate them. Because that's exactly where those robots came from. They look almost the same. So I just want to say they've done a good job of stuff like that thus far. James Gunn, who is the leader of DC and DC films and comics and everything right now. Not comics, sorry, all things visual for DC, and also the director of this film. The second thing was, as far as numbers, I know people often ask, like, but what was the budget? And so according to IMDb, the estimated budget for Superman was $225 million. So they're well on their
So
way.
they just about doubled that.
Right, now we don't know what marketing costs, and that's always where things get tricky for me. But just speaking about the cost of the film, they're approaching double, which is what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Good
Yeah.
for them.
Word.
Good for James Gunn.
Yep, this is a good start. I'll leave it there for now. Now, we go
Also,
from a... Go ahead.
I always think it's funny because I don't really know, like I know the names and whatever, but I find it really funny that, as everybody's buzzing about Superman and whatever and whatnot, I also saw Kevin Feige's name this week. I don't remember why, and it doesn't really matter why. I just feel like it's funny because just like anything else, like it's like Battle of the Superheroes, and it's
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean,
it's like
even that Variety article made sure to mention Fantastic Four comes out next week, which at
which
this
is
point
probably
is
why I
Friday.
saw Kevin Feige's name.
Mhm.
Which I can't wait to see. I'm really excited to see Fantastic Four, but because I remember Fantastic Four as a kid, so I'm like, this is gonna be
I
cool.
was I
But
was scolded today about Fantastic Four.
okay,
I asked my daughter, "Hey, you're gonna be away when Fantastic Four comes out," and she cut me off and was like, "You better wait. I'm coming back." Like, okay, all right, my bad, player. My bad,
I was
dog.
about to say, ooh, pod road trip, and then not road trip, but pod field trip, and then well, like the boss
He
has
was like,
spoken.
I know, but I'll be back, Dad. I was like, all right, my bad,
Right?
gangster.
She's
I
like, I
guess,
know how movies work. It's not gonna be out
guess
the
I'll,
theaters when I get back.
guess I'll be waiting till August sometime to see this. You know,
Listen, the young lady needs to go on her vac. You just gotta wait.
I wasn't
Okay,
trying to
she's trying
stop
to
the
live her best
vacation. I
life.
was just saying, watch it while you're on vacation. And she was like, nah, when I come back and I'm with you, we'll figure it out. And I'm like,
That's because
okay.
that's y'all's thing. You can't just.
I know. I got scolded. I thought I was going to be able to slip out the back door on it. And she was like, no, nigga. Sit down, relax.
You gotta wait. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll be one of the last people to see it. You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna be one of the last people to see it. You're so ridiculous. You don't have to see movies the day they come out.
I
You
know.
really don't.
I
You
know.
think that every movie needs to be viewed within 72 hours of
Only
its
the ones I
release.
really want to see. The other ones, I'm like, I'll wait for HBO Max. I don't care. Like, but if I really want to see it, yeah, I'm trying to see it in the first couple days. Yeah.
Fantastic Four is actually one that I'm like, huh? I could go see that this weekend. I wouldn't mind going to see that this
Know what I mean?
weekend. Yeah, but I'm also a little backed up with movies because I still haven't seen Superman, so we'll see how that goes.
Got you. Well, we go from strong beginnings to sad ending. This article is from USA Today. It says Stephen Colbert reveals the real hairy reason for late show firing. Quote, CBS saw my upper lip and boom, canceled. Coincidence? Stephen Colbert said on July 21st. It says there are many legitimate reasons for both Stephen Colbert and the Late Show franchise. Why both Stephen Colbert and the Late Show franchise were canceled by CBS last week. There's the collapse of TV late nights model amid rising costs, declining profits, and shrinking viewership. There's Colbert's unrelenting criticism of a thin-skinned president, while CBS parent company Paramount Global seeks to finalize an $8.4 billion merger with Skydance Media, which requires regulatory approval from the federal government. All of these things could be true. However, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert host floated another eyebrow-raising theory on July 1st that, while made in apparent jest, shouldn't be brushed away like panini crumbs in Movember. I have no idea what Movember is.
So that's when it's about men's health. That's when men don't shave and they grow out their...
I thought that was No Nut November and all that. No Shave November.
Movember, I think, existed before people started saying No Nut November. I don't even know. I've heard of No Nut November before, but it's Movember that I...
You might be right. Google says Movember is a global men's health movement that takes place annually in November. The name is a combination of the Australian English word mo for mustache and November. During Movember, men are encouraged to grow mustaches to spark conversation and raise awareness and funds for men's health issues. These issues include prostate and testicular cancer, mental health, and S-word prevention. Self-deleting prevention. The movement was founded in 2003 by a group of friends in Australia. All right.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So, No Nut November is something else.
All right.
Something
it says
else
this
less,
firing. It says this firing was spurred on by his controversial summer mustache. It was his stashism, quote unquote. Colbert returned from summer hiatus to the Late Show on July 14th, sporting what one charitably referred to as a, quote, unfortunate summer mustache. In his first monologue, the host got way too close to the camera while discussing the ongoing facial hair situation on his upper lip, which he referred to as his salt and pepper cookie pusher. That's a weird joke. It says, sure, Colbert also eviscerated Donald Trump and Paramount in the same monologue, causing consternation in the corner offices and likely the Oval Office. Yet, as well, we all know, 3 nights later, a newly shaven Colbert announced the news of the Late Show cancellation to a stunned nation. There's more, but I don't want to read more. I think we get it.
This is... Okay, here's the thing. 2 things. 1, I understand when you talk about the bosses, a lot of times that doesn't go well publicly. A lot of times that doesn't go well for you. And on that end of things, get it. Okay.
That didn't go well.
No, it didn't. That was very unexpected.
There it is.
Just like Colbert's exit.
It was totally unplanned. He said things don't go well, and everything fell.
And I feel like my head went down too. Like I felt like I was going down with it. too. Like I was looking down, like some like.
That's mad funny.
Anyway,
When you talk about the bosses, it doesn't always go well.
yeah, when you talk about the bosses publicly, it doesn't always go well. On one hand, I'm like, I understand how he shook the table with speaking about Paramount execs, Paramount, the company, like that's a shaky ground to be on. However, typically people in that role kind of it's kind of like what we say about comedians. They kind of get this extra leeway, this extra space to say things that most of us probably cannot get away with. This seemed to me to be more about the merger and the politics of the free speech piece of it.
Yes.
And if you're paying attention to news today, this year, a lot has changed. Even going to places where you previously thought were safe in terms of getting your news and your news talk is voices are being suppressed
Yes.
and people are shifting their interests.
Yes.
And if you are, again, if you are paying attention to news or if you haven't been and you want to know what I'm talking about, do a little research about some of these news outlets, especially the cable news outlets, and how they have historically presented themselves. And then check out, I won't even say names, but check out some of the news talk stations and you will see that there has been a shift over the last several months.
People are not so fair and balanced anymore.
Exactly. So this just feels like another piece of that. This feels very much like if there were someone else in power, that maybe this would have gone differently. It also, to me, just to lighten it up a little bit, and I'm sure you'll have a lot to say, but last thing I'll say is I feel like I'm on a season of Succession. I really feel like we are very much, and if you know, you know, and if you don't know, go watch Succession, please. It's a great show. Um, and then go back to old episodes of ours, and we reviewed the final season. But please, like, pay attention to it because it tells this story from the end of the people who run the news and who run the company that runs the news, and it'll make a lot more sense watching something like that. What's going on here? Because I think that we have this idea that news and media is just like its own entity and it's controlled by no one else. But that is not true. Our government is very much involved in what we see and how we see it. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
There's a clip that goes viral every couple months, maybe every couple years. Maybe I'm being too nice. It's a clip that goes viral regularly from the show Newsroom.
One of my favorites.
If you know the clip, then I don't have to say much. But maybe y'all don't know the clip, so here's what I will say. Unfortunately, today, if you are tied to a large conglomerate, you're going to be censored more and more. Why? Because you do not have the independent voice you once had. The White House is taking away funding. The White House is pulling the rug underneath people. The White House is bullying people. And really, by people, I mean companies. They are doing things to companies and they are not playing fair. And if you don't think that's okay to say, that's cool. Argue with your mama. What I'm going to say very simply is if you are not an independent operator You are going to have to make some career choices. This has historically happened. You can look at Don Lemon. You can look at Mark Lamont Hill. And the list goes on and on and on. When you speak out, you will be fired, censored, moved to a less entertaining time slot, etc., etc., etc. The difference today is it's more in your face than ever, probably. The difference today is they don't give a fuck how it looks. Because maybe before they said, well, we can't do that to JD because the people will have some things to say. People are consumers. They won't really like it. Today they don't give a fuck about what you like. Today they are doing the Steve Jobs. Tell people what they like. Steve Jobs once said, people don't know what they like. You have to tell them what to like.
Yeah. And this is why, if you're going to get your news from these places, especially news, but obviously we get other things from them too. But if you're going to get your news from these places, don't pick one. Watch them all. Or have other sources where you can find news as well, because sometimes often you are getting a skewed view of exactly what is going on, exactly what is happening. And as well, I know you're saying independent, is the way to go, but I even worry about, little old us, that we speak pretty freely on this podcast, and we are barely 7 months into our world as we know it for a while, and we could end up being censored as well, and that's a scary thought, because once they're done with the Colberts of the world, well, the little fish that, every now and again get a video that a bunch of people watch and share and like, I feel like they're next.
I hear that. But bringing it back to Colbert, just feel like we didn't say much about him specifically. My last point, bringing it back to Colbert, I think is unfortunate, but he had a great run.
Yeah.
And I think that he'll be able to move on to other things and shine just as much. And I think it's great that he has friends like Jon Stewart who will come up there and say, fuck y'all. This is fucked up.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be okay, because, like a Don Lemon, I'm sure that this will open doors for him that maybe he wasn't even imagining at this point in time. But it is a crappy thing to have happen.
Absolutely.
You don't want your voice to be taken away, and in that way. And I mean, the Late Show has been on for 20 years.
Yep.
Like,
And what happens to
Letterman,
the Tonight's though?
what, like Jimmy Fallon and
No, the Ben and Jerry's ice cream, which is one of my favorite
the
flavors.
Tonight's dough. I've
What
never had
happens
it
to
because
the
it has
Tonight's
nuts
though?
or peanut
Do I
butter or
need to
something,
go
right?
buy? It does, yes. Yes,
I
it
don't
does.
think Ben and
Do I
Jerry's
need
is
to go
going
buy
to.
like 20 pints and store them before it gets pulled from shelves?
You think it's gonna get pulled from shelves?
If the Tonight Show don't exist anymore, how could the contract exist?
Is it an official contract with the Tonight Show?
I don't know. I gotta find out because it looks just like the Tonight
Yeah,
Show set on the cover.
it does, but it is called the Tonight Dough. So it's not exactly like, the likeness is not, well, his face is on it. That's why I'm like, is it with the show or is it with Colbert? Because if it's with Colbert, get your money, honey. Keep that going. I've never had it. I've heard it's good though.
It's great.
I can't have it, but I believe you.
Google says yes, Ben and Jerry's The Tonight's Dough ice cream flavor is tied directly to the Tonight's Dough hosted by Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon.
The Tonight Show, you mean? Yeah,
That's
we're talking about the
the
Late
wrong
Show.
show.
And why didn't
All
that
right,
click
my
for me?
bad.
We're talking about the Late Show, not and I
My
did say
bad.
Jimmy Fallon. I
That's my
did say
bad.
Fallon in the beginning.
That's my bad. Just being
Yeah,
fat
you
and worried
confused
about the
me.
wrong shit. That's my bad, y'all. My bad.
Although I thought
El
Colbert
Malo.
had one too. Is
What's his
Col?
call?
I don't know. I don't have my laptop with me, but
I'm looking.
I swore he did. Is his Americone Dream? Is that him?
About to find out.
Because that's my jam. I love Americone Dream.
Yep. Americone Dream.
Oh, that's I love that. I don't even like waffle cones, but that's good. A little crunchy waffle cone inside. Ooh, yummy.
It says, yes, Ben and Jerry's Americone Dream ice cream is directly tied to Stephen Colbert and his shows, Z with a S. So maybe it's safe.
Yeah, there might be a loophole in there because it doesn't just say the late.
All right. I think that's our show, no?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
All
so.
right, folks, go grab an ice cream.
Get some Ben and Jerry's. If y'all need some flavor recommendations, let me know. I love me some Ben.
I mean, we
and
just
Jerry's.
gave y'all two of them.
Right, but I also have some other ones that I love. So
All right.
next time.
Hit us in the DMs or the comments if you need ice cream recommendations. Let us know what y'all think about this whole censorship and firing. And what are your thoughts on Superman if you saw it?
Sounds good.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye. I thought you were done.
Sorry. I was right with you.
Bye.